Guns don't kill people. Shlak kills people. No God, only Shlak.
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode 227. Horror, pain, gore. Yeah, that's right, motherfuckers. We're back in the saddle again. And this week we have a fucking killer guest, a guy that I've been wanting to be on this show for a very long time now. He is the proprietor of Horror, Pain, Gore, Death Productions, the hottest fucking label in the underground. If you weren't aware, they're putting out shit like the Crippler, Shlak's new band for all you HPGD fucking fans. Put out this Prick's second album, Handsome Prick, and Nimityville. All kinds of other shit, dude. Shout out to our homie Jerry in Elbow Deep. They got that shit coming out too. We're going to talk about a lot more. Yeah, my boys. And guess what? He's a huge fucking wrestling mark. So let's just fucking tear into it right now. Mike Juliano, how the fuck are you?
Fucking here. It's a Monday night. This is going to get raw, uncut, uncensored, 90s style. Where's Vince when you need him, right?
All right. Uncooked, uncut, uncensored.
I'm fucking ready, though.
Back up.
Thanks for having me.
By the way, we have a thing on here where if I do a Jim Ross thing, you got to fucking drink. So, you know.
Okay, I got a couple beers on the side, so I'm good.
So let's just kick it off, brother, because, dude, I mean, your wrestling knowledge goes deep. Your metal shit goes fucking deep. But, you know, we're here for fucking wrestling. We'll get into a little bit of the metal shit. But, dude, ECW, one of our, me and Bodie, Sren doesn't really know that much shit about the wrestling scene. He was in and out back in the day. We kind of drug him back in. Now I think he's trying to get a little back out again. You know, I can't blame him. Some of this mainstream shit is just like atrocious, you know. But I digress. ECW, one of our favorite fucking promotions, one of the most influential promotions to ever fucking exist. What is your history with ECW and attending the shows?
So basically, I went to WWF as a kid, watching WCW. It's 93, and I'm watching Sports Channel Philadelphia. And I'm seeing these two white guys that are rappers, and they're cutting a promo on Terry Funk's ranch. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I watch it for a few weeks. Then my dad says, hey, we're going to go to this wrestling show that's local in South Philly. And I had no idea it was the same FTW. You know, it was Eastern at that time, too.
Right.
So my first show was in May of 94.
Holy shit.
And the second show I went to right after that was a No Rope Barbed Wire, Funk's vs. Public Enemy. So I was like thrown right into it. Got to see Sabu, Shane Douglas, man. It was wild. So the next few months go by. I go every month. Turns into Extreme, obviously. Beginning in 95 is when all the shit hit the fan, man. Like everything you could ever want with deathmatch wrestling. First of all, I got to see all the Japanese wrestling from the art video vending table. Yeah. So I'm seeing like all these fucking sick glass matches, like and fucking, you know, IWA, all that
Leatherface,
Wing, and like
Wing.
I started buying those tapes, but then Ian and Axel Rotten, they had that feud that went on the first half.
Yes,
and that like changed everything, man.
The Thai Pie fucking death
match. And basically, like that was only 4 or 5 months worth of matches, but that amped up everything. And the whole world was trying to emulate that at that point. That's when everybody jumped to WCW. But yeah, ECW basically, I mean, I have an ECW tattoo that I got when they went out, which I'll try to get it on camera. But yeah,
it's extreme.
That's like 20 years old now, that tattoo.
There we go.
But yeah, no, it changed everything for me. It got me into metal too, because, you know, they'd use Thunderkiss 65 at the beginning of the show. And I'm like 11 years old, 12 years old.
What were you listening to at the time?
You know, just the radio shit, some heavy stuff like Metallica, like dabbling into Slayer. But I was young, man. You know, I was born in 83. So 11, 12, you're just starting to, you know, get into that, develop your taste. But that same summer, started digging deeper, got into, you know, horror. I was always into at the same time. Traces of Death 3 soundtrack. Yeah. Which is something like the real deal Faces of Death, but it was Nuclear Blast and Relapse bands. So everything hit at once. Metal, horror, and fucking wrestling. But I went to ECW from 94 until the end, every fucking month.
Holy shit.
And there's so many memories I have, you know, like Born to Be Wired, all that shit. Stairway to Hell, you know, New Jack diving off everything. Dreamer getting choke slammed by Brian Lee. Like, it's just endless. You know, people ask me, like, what's my favorite memory? I can't even pick one, dude. Just being at the arena, too.
That's like one of, I mean, dude, you're down there. So, I mean, that's fucking awesome. And, you know, I'm up here in Northwest Indiana, like Chicagoland, and that's one of my goals, you know, before I fucking kick the bucket. I got to make it to the 2300 arena, man.
Sadly, man, you're going to be disappointed because all the mystique and the allure is gone. They put so much money into it. It's a nice fucking place now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's nice. It's weird, man. They do like some indie shows there, and it's just
Have you seen any like MLW or anything? Because I know they've run
I haven't gone to any of the recent events there. I went to Hardcore Homecomings and one of the House of Hardcore shows that Dreamer put on. But yeah, I mean, I've watched some MLW. It's fine. We can get into that later. The difference is, like, I'm very jaded and spoiled by seeing all that shit for so many years. At the arena, too, I can't go and enjoy myself.
Did you
There's
ever
no
have
blood
any,
law too at this point. You can't bleed. The athletic commission won't let you bleed.
Really?
So that's a big fucking
they won't.
That's why Jersey has everything, which I was going to talk about CZW later, but that's why everything shifted to Jersey at that point, because Philly had athletic commission laws, and then it went from Jersey to Delaware, and now it's back in Jersey. So it's a fucked up round robin situation.
What was your thoughts on I mean, dude, you were there till the end, you know, going to these shows. And I remember they came up here once to fucking Gary, Indiana. What a hell of a place to go for ECW. It seems almost fitting. What were your thoughts though, like when it closed and all that shit?
So I had the Club ECW tickets, which honestly, I had a feeling that it was changing because they got the TNN deal. And then they were only in Philly like once every 4 months, but they were shifting toward more high flying and lucha stuff, less violent shit. But the vibe there the last couple shows was like, this isn't going to last. There was a buzz spreading about CZW, like that's the new ECW. Fuck this now. You know, I was still loyal to it. It was fun. It was great matches. And like some of the later ECW fucking feuds are great. But I think everybody kind of knew the writing was on the wall. Just because the internet was blowing up Paul Heyman and like everybody in the arena knew the kayfabe sheets and stuff. Like that was all fucking since like 96 on. Everybody in the arena knew everything. So it spoiled it in some ways too.
They were like the first like ECW fans were kind of like the start of, you know, the whole smart mark things. Yeah. That's why I loved when Pillman came in and you see the guy with the signs like, don't work us, Pillman, please don't.
That was wild too with Pillman. Yeah. Cause nobody knew what the fuck he was doing. And he worked.
Shit's crazy.
We still don't know the history behind that. What's the truth and what's not, you know?
I think he worked everybody. He worked fucking McMahon. He worked fucking Bischoff.
Yeah.
Worked Heyman.
But yeah, man.
He worked himself.
Everybody kind of knew, I think, that it was the end. And they never came back for like the last pay-per-view, you know, and there was no TV show that was syndicated. It just kind of like slowly died. And then fucking Paul Heyman overall was just like, nope. Paul, he's dead. Paul Heyman's on Raw. We're done, you know?
Yeah.
Disappointing, man. Very disappointing. But at that point, to be honest, I was going to CZW every month at the same time.
There you go.
So it already took the void that I had where it's like it's not violent enough, not extreme enough. And I was already deep into that. Plus, a lot of the guys already went there, XPW, at that point.
Yeah, for sure. So what were like some of those? Because, dude, CZW is notorious. And I know... correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're back, right? Because they were on a little hiatus.
They were like one of the few feds that didn't run during COVID, which was stupid too, because that's when everybody was. That's what saved deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah, GCW took full advantage of that shit.
But CZW doesn't really do death matches at all. It's just all the indie guys that are around high flying, and they did Tournament of Death. That was like the one event that they did that was death match in, I guess, 4 years. Because I went to the last couple Tournament of Deaths too, and they were kind of weak. You know, the writing was on the wall for CZW too. They all follow the same trajectory, and even GCW now is kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of fucking 6-man scrambles, which are great, but it's the same shit formula every show, and they're trying to grow.
Yeah.
But what made them was the death matches. You know, Ricochet and Page feud. Yeah, made fucking GCW where it is now.
Yep,
and that's missing.
There's signed with MLW, I think.
Yeah, and he left death matches, and you see a lot of guys doing that. Like the time for that is done. It's past. It's still going to go on, but there's going to be less people wanting to do it, and the shit's expensive too.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
To do.
You know, Joe Biden's made it hard for us to find light tubes and gushers.
Yeah. They would rather have like a match here and there where they can do their death match, get it out of their system.
Yeah, like the Nick Gage stuff's cool and all. Yeah. I watched a show from this Saturday, and it was fine. It was in Canada, which is different, you know. And Gage showed up as a surprise because he's a felon, you know. Normally can't leave.
Yeah, normally you can't.
Why are you doing that, buddy?
For the most part, man, like, you know, death matches right now, I only get excited every 2-3 shows that I see a GCW event. XPW, on the other hand, is giving me what I want.
Yeah, they are. They're delivering.
Yeah, I don't personally give a fuck who's wrestling, but you got to go all out, go balls deep, elbow deep, if you will.
Oh yeah,
Jarrett.
But we want fucking, you know, we want it to be the way it was 3 years ago, where there's competition that's going to create better atmosphere, more violence. Now it's getting toned down, and it's watered down and overset.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, like the reason for that is obviously I know with like Brett Lauderdale and that shit, he's wanting to, you know, expand the brand, and obviously money is the root of all evil. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. But other than that, and what do you, because I mean, dude, like when GCW was firing on all cylinders, dude, like you had Shlak and fucking Casanova Valentine and Marcus
G-Raver
shit. Yeah, dude, like that shit was fucking amazing.
Well, Jimmy Lloyd's still there too, but you know, he was.
And now it's just, you know, it's a little watered down, and I mean they
know what it
have.
is?
Fucking, I mean, like they bring in a lot of cool dudes still. I mean, like Ninja Mac and all the Vikingo, you know, like all the great. It's that weird transition, right? Like we can't pop you with like the blood and guts, so we'll pop you with the fucking
Lucha.
Spot Monkey Lucha.
Well, I went to the couple shows before COVID hit in Philly. They did it at Voltage Lounge, which is like a small fucking building where they do concerts and shit. And the ring was in the middle, like you could touch it from the steps. It was a horrible setup, but the atmosphere was gritty. That's where they did that Fight Forever thing during COVID, the 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
But they're suing AEW for right now or some shit. They're trying to settle out for it.
Yeah, they're holding up a video game or whatever.
AEW's probably like, fuck you.
They got the money anyway. Just pay them up.
Right.
But no, but what I think
some money. Go away, kid. You bother me.
It was that the death match wasn't really in vogue yet until right when COVID started. And then when that happened, all the eyes were on GCW. They phased out the death match slowly, but they wanted to expand. The Hammerstein thing fucked it all up when they did Hammerstein Ball because they can't bleed New York. Same thing. Right. And all the people that you pay to see, they're not gonna be able to perform properly with having to worry about that shit. The athletic commission. But the problem is they sold out the tickets in like a day, less than a day. And then all the eyes are on them. The contracts are there. And then they're dealing with other companies, the lucha companies, shit like that. I do like the crossover and the working together. Don't get me wrong. It's an alternative to AEW, but they're never going to compete. The deathmatch audience is like 200 people like me from back in the day that want the same shit. And it doesn't really grow. People go in and out of it, but you're always going to have those 200 people. And that's why the ICW,
it's like death metal, dude. Deathmatch and death metal are scissoring.
It's capped, though. It's capped. And GCW somehow went from being death matches to being like, we're not quite AEW. Maybe we'll get there one day, but you won't. It's just going to be at that level. I mean, to be realistic,
Right.
The talent's not going to get paid either. That's another thing.
Unfortunately.
Real wrestling fans don't want to see blood and guts and death matches. They're turned off by it. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying the original fans don't want to see that, but like the new school wave of fans, and to get TV and what they're trying to aspire to do, it's like that formula will sink you. That's what happened with ECW too. because you're spending money to make money, and then it's going to be watered down and more generic. And your stars will leave because you can't afford to keep.
Well, speaking, just cycle back real quick when you mentioned Ricky Shane Page, and he's signed with MLW now, and they're on Reels. So if anybody has that, you could watch that. I don't know how much longer they're going to be on there. I think it was kind of a short-term deal.
Yeah, I heard
he's doing this thing with Raven. Like Raven's got like a new group in MLW. And I'm like,
who's the other guy with them too? It's Raven, Ricky Shane Page, and there's one more guy with them. I can't think of him.
Yeah, I don't know his name. I'm stoked to see that. I like to see like, and then I read a thing like Raven saying like, yeah, I could still do like babyface tag matches and shit. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, you got to just be a manager at this point. Like he was one of my favorites, dude, coming up as a kid. And like, it's been heartbreaking to see like, I loved when he was doing the TNA fucking shit. Yeah. And then he went away for a while and he came back. And every time he came back, he was just more and more broken down. You know, it's like,
it's a long time ago, man. Like I'm thinking back, it's almost 30 years since he debuted, you know, and that was 95, early 95.
Dude, I remember him as what? Johnny fucking Polo or
Johnny Polo.
Johnny Polo.
He's always been a great heel, great mouthpiece. And that's what he needs to do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, 12 years ago when they were doing the Hardcore Homecoming, Shane Douglas company, that was disappointing. Like a couple people died. Balls died right after that. Axel died. Sabu OD'd in the hotel before one show, didn't even show up. It was just like a shit show, you know? Yeah. And you don't want to see guys now like disgrace their legacy. That's the way I get a paycheck, but you don't even have to wrestle. Just make an appearance and do something. But yeah, he should not be be wrestling and doing anything active.
Well, it's funny because he's a great mind for the business. And he's talking about like ring psychology and shit. He's like, well, I can't even do the even flow DDT anymore, but you know, I do like a drop toe hold and the fucking, or maybe have, you know, the guy I'm tagging with do it so he gets the rub and the pop and it's still, you still get to see it. I'm just not doing it.
Man, if you've never seen Raven before live, you're gonna pop when you see it. That's the difference between like, you know, people like me that have seen it fucking hundreds of times in the 90s, and now it's a fraction of what it was. It sucks.
Yeah,
you know?
It sucks getting old, man. You see all these fucking guys like, God damn, man, like these are some of my fucking dudes, and they're too old to do it anymore. And
Sandman somehow looks better than he did like 20 years ago, though, because he stopped drinking and, you know, didn't die. So
popping pills. I remember he was on like Man Cow when he was out here in Chicago on like Q101. And it's like, Raven's in the studio and he just gave Turd a bunch of pills and we think he's OD'd.
Nice.
God damn, man. But getting back to like the promotions that you're talking about outside of ECW and going where you're on the East Coast and shit and like CZW and that. What about like 3PW? Something that was like Jasmine Sinclair and Blue Meanie started. What were those shows like? Because I'd always heard about it, but I'll be honest with you, I'd never fucking seen anything from them.
You'd have no way to see it, really. They did put out like a DVD series in Best Buy. A lot of these small companies had deals like that.
Right.
But they went out of print really quick and like everybody got screwed over money-wise.
Oh,
but those shows were interesting. Todd Gordon from ECW was a part of that too.
Yep.
So he helped book it. You know, it was basically just Northeast indie talent. Like Jersey All Pro Wrestling's another one. Trying to think what else back then. There was a bunch of companies that kind of ran spot shows, and that was just like a hodgepodge of like late ECW guys with that. So you had the Pitbulls, a Public Enemy, mixing with like Joey Mercury or someone like that. There's some cool shows. They brought in Abdul the Butcher a couple times.
Yeah.
It was shit you wanted to see. Jerry Lawler against Terry Funk was there. And they ran it like the Electric Factory a few shows, which is a bigger venue, concert venue. So it was like it had potential, but it just, you know, they spent way too much money, didn't make it back. And like you said, you can't find it. You know, most people have heard about it, but they have no idea. Shows are entertaining, but nothing to write home about, no storylines really. It's just show to show kind of deal.
Yeah. Would how much of a fan were you not of the WWE CW?
Oh, God.
Man,
best ever.
I like the documentary they did. The documentary they did was cool.
It was, I watch it at least once a year.
It was still close to the time frame when they went out of business. You got to remember that. It was like less than
3-4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was excited about it at first, but they announced a Hardcore Homecoming event for Philly the same weekend at the ECW Arena.
Yeah. And that wasn't that Jeremy Borash was a part of that one?
Yeah. It was like TNA sponsored kind of, but it was legit. Like the atmosphere that night was awesome. And it was like the first real reunion that they've had.
And you were in attendance for that.
Yeah, I went to that one. I didn't go to One Night Stand in New York, though. I chose Philly over New York.
Ooh.
And I'm glad I did.
Keeping it real. Well, dude, that One Night Stand show, that first one was...
It was okay. It was cool. But they put the fucking JBL angle going on. And
that I didn't like. That was the worst thing. But it was cool to see RVD fucking go over Cena, dude.
Yeah, and the energy was fucking cool, you know. But I knew it was dead as soon as they announced the sci-fi show.
And the zombie, dude, I'll never forget that motherfucker came out, and I was just like, "Oh hell no!"
I was like, "What is this?"
I went to Raw. I think it was July 4th, July 5th. I went to Raw, and then the ECW on Sci-Fi when they pulled him over, Van Dam and Sabu, and he fucking got stripped of the title.
Yeah,
it was disappointing because I would have liked to have seen what would have happened. You know, would they have buried him eventually? Sure, but I think that fucked up the entire thing. And it's ECW fashion, man. You know.
Yep.
You drugs, party, and you get fucked.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man.
Yeah. Couldn't have gone down any other
way, I guess.
But yeah, I think Vince, like everybody talks about, he buys things to bury it, you know, just forget about history. This is the way it is now. And I think that's what he did with ECW because that shit lasted 4 years, I guess. 3-4 years, the new ECW. And that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Terrible. I tried to watch it. I couldn't.
Like, I was... I went to a live event. They had one at like the Hammond Civic Center up where I'm at. And it was like the tail end. It was like basically the farewell tour. So it was like ECW / what was it, like SmackDown or some shit?
SmackDown, yeah.
And I remember seeing guys like Christian and whoever was on the Kane or some on the roster at the fucking time. And I'm just like, God damn it, you know, this isn't ECW.
See, you had CM Punk was like their big dude that he debuted.
Fuck CM Punk, man.
I agree.
Fuck that guy.
Straight edge? Nope, I don't think so. But,
I call you a punk when I hold you down. Put some whiskey down your gullet.
He showed up at CZW one show and he got fucking like laughed out the building. Work. And then he was in IW at Mid-South and like all these fucking promotions, which you're probably familiar with IWA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ever go to one of those?
No, I haven't been, man. I think they're
done now, but
that shit.
Ian's fucked over people so many times.
Oh yeah, dude. You see,
that's one thing I really wanted to see back in like the early 2000s. Go to one of those, but never made it.
You know, I never really got to travel much like for wrestling shows like then, and that was more or less like me staying at home and just getting like the underground stuff on DVD or wherever I could fucking find it at the time. YouTube was there, but it wasn't. It was like in its infancy, you know. So there wasn't a whole bunch of that shit, and not till I really got older that I started going to more fucking wrestling shows outside of, you know, your WCW and WWE shit, you know?
Yeah, I realized I'm spoiled by living in the Northeast. Like,
you were.
Yeah, because you guys got all the hardcore shit and all the hardcore.
Not only that, but it was like I was seeing like all these crappy indie shows before I went to ECW, like Honky Tonk Man against like Greg Valentine, shit like that.
You know,
it's time for action.
We had some of that in Milwaukee. You get some of the old timers out there just beating the hell out of each other.
Like so many odd characters pop up on the indies and they're either fucked up or they're just broken, need money, or, you know, they're on their way back. So yeah, it's very cool that I got to experience all that. And I don't think it's the same. Like the indies now, it's all a network of people.
Yeah.
It's IWTV, you know, like we're going to support this, which is great, but like there's no rivalry and it's everybody just saying, yay, we're wrestling and people are watching. And that's not what it's, you know. You gotta have hard critiques. It's like metal. You don't want to see generic watered down bullshit.
No.
You know, you need organic, real, brutal shit.
Yeah, no one fucking likes Fozzy. Fucking
you love Fozzy.
They're coming down the street from me in like a couple weeks or something. And I'm like,
you're gonna go see him.
I ain't fucking going to that shit.
Go see him. Go rock out, dude.
My buddy hit me up. He's like, meet and greets are sold out. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, and? Fucking care. Would it be cool to talk to Jericho? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? And I tried, you know, just to promote. Because like I said, I know the owner of the place that he's fucking playing and shit. And I tried to reach out to their agents. And it's like, well, if you ain't got, you know, 1 million fucking people paying attention to your shit, we don't want none to do with you. And I'm like, okay. All right. I'll see you later. I'm going to go talk to Mike Giuliano and have a real conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to see Jericho and ECW too for like
Lionheart, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, going back to that real quick, because I mean the death match they weren't really
Wasn't a death match.
It wasn't a death match, but they had a lot of brutal shit. It was never really called death match unless it was like the Taipei fucking shit, you know?
That was the first one. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. But the luchadors that they brought in, you know, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio is going into the Hall of Fame now and is probably going to go down as the most globally influential fucking luchador like ever. You know, who some of the big like Blue Demon and what's his name?
Mil Mascaras.
Yeah, Mil Mascaras or Santo or whatever. Like those guys were Silver huge. King. Don't get me wrong, but that they did not have the global fucking impact that Rey Mysterio had, you know, because he had end up going to the E and WCW. He had those corporate machines behind him, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Damn, they were putting on some great fucking matches there, you know, bringing guys over like Benoit and Guerrero, you know, like, you know, Pegasus Kid or Wild Pegasus and
Dean Malenko
was vicious.
Had like a series of fucking draws all over like in a weekend, and it was great. You know, I used to go to Jim Thorpe, which was on the mountain. They had this fucking bar called the Flagstaff, and they would have ECW there, but it was like a fucking bar that was about to fall off the mountain. Like it was the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. Like it felt dangerous being there, and it eventually did fall off the mountain.
Eventually, it got real fucking dangerous.
Not during wrestling; it was shut down. But yeah, there was some classic shit there too, and they would put on these half-hour draws in front of like 7,500 people. You know, and it was just a clinic. You know, you talk about like Ric Flair and fucking Steamboat. You know, like this was on par with anything I've ever seen, and you're seeing that going into Ian and Axel. You know, and it's just like your mind's blown. And then Terry Funk against Cactus Jack is your headliner. It's like,
beautiful
main event. You can't beat that shit.
No way.
Hostile City Showdown 95. That's probably like one of the quintessential events. If you watch that from front to back, it's everything you could want. It's got shitty matches that open up the card. Just every fucking thing that embodies ECW.
Yes. Dude, let's get out of the US for a little minute here and go to Japan. This is something you sent me some notes and some shit to talk about. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like you went to Japan, you were at Korauken Hall right before fucking COVID. Tell us what that was fucking like. And was that for New Japan or was GCW was around?
No, I booked the trip. Just randomly did it occur that there was wrestling the same week.
Going to see Marty Friedman or some shit, you know, keeping it real?
No. Yeah. Basically, like, you know, the COVID shit had just started to hit CNN and all that. I heard about it. Didn't think anything would ever fucking happen. But bought my tickets to Japan for like a crazy cheap deal in November. Went first week in February. You know, everything hit here like 5 weeks later. So I saw GCW Freedoms and GCW Big Japan, Korauken Hall, 2 nights in a row. And I went to Tutakon, which is like the biggest wrestling store they have over there, which is fucking ridiculous. Dropped like $300-$400 there, and like VHS tapes. They had magazines with Brody. You know, it was fucking sick. But yeah, Korauken Hall, like I'd watched that shit since '95. You know, with the old Wing and FMW tapes, and it's crazy because it's the 7th floor of like an industrial building. So you have to take an elevator up to the 7th floor, and then it's like a sports room. Which is like, I didn't even understand how the fuck that's possible that you could build a building like this. It's behind the Tokyo Dome, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, being in that building, like I had chills from the start. And I'm like, you know, that's where fucking Matsunaga was thrown off the balcony and shit. And I was like, fuck, I'm here now. And, you know, they saw me coming in with my buddy. And I was just there, you know, 2-week vacation, whatever. And they're like, Gaijin. And they were like, anything you want. Like, where the fuck do you want to go? So like, I saw the mobsters talking and shit. And I'm like, oh, it's a couple rows in, you know. But you could see like the fucking, you know, the Yakuza with their hot chicks there and like guys in business suits. And like, it's such a fucked up atmosphere seeing the way it actually is and run over there. Because I've heard stories for years about the mob selling out wrestling. You know.
Didn't I think, wasn't there a story about Inoki getting into some shit with the mob? Or was that, I think it was Inoki, right?
Inoki had trouble. I know Sabu.
Oneida too, I think. Whoops. Oneida too, I thought.
Yeah. Oneida fucking.
Oneida. All them
I went to see Matsunaga Steakhouse over there. He wasn't there, but it was fucking good. Went to Rivera, you know.
Nice.
You got it, Rivera.
I didn't get a jacket, no. I'm a mark, but I didn't get a jacket.
Oh, man, come on. I'd have got a jacket because, you know, the great thing would have been like, yeah, I fucking actually got it in person, not just fucking
exactly.
Shit.
But, dude, it was wild. Just being in Japan already was, like, fucking insane.
What's the atmosphere like? Because like all the videos and shit I've seen, like it seems very clean. You can probably get a child out of a vending machine out there. Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting culture because most people speak English over there, or at least understand enough.
Yeah.
So like, we took the train from the airport and it was fucking like a triple platform type train. Got lost, had no fucking idea what was going on. Went to like this little Airbnb we got for like $40 a night, which is cheap as fuck, because Tokyo is expensive, but you can definitely do it on the cheap. You can drink in public, it's legal. So fucking just buying beer and alcohol all the time, walking around, just hammered,
Yes.
But there's a very much of a, we don't do this. Like, you're American, you could do this, but just because you can drink, we're not going to do this shit. They're very clean and proper until they're behind closed doors, and then it gets wild.
Yep.
But everybody is fucking friendly, and like record stores over there, I dropped like $700 in records just buying weird random shit. But it was like walking into literally another universe, And I definitely want to go back, but I don't think it's the same yet because they're very paranoid with COVID shit, and the masks were there because they always wear them, but like now it's got to be 20 times as restricted.
Yeah,
they're smart people though, very smart, and like, I mean, as far as a wrestling fan, going there is like Mecca. That there's nothing better.
Oh yeah,
that's the one building I wanted to go to.
You just got to hit the fucking Tokyo Dome now.
Yeah. Well, there was a New Japan show when we flew in, so we just missed it by like a couple hours. But I was also up for like 30 hours.
Yeah, dude.
Flight shit. It was brutal. It took a good 2-3 days to like adapt, and I spent 2 weeks there. And by the time you're like feeling comfortable, then it's time to go home. But it was fucking sick. It definitely, the best trip I've ever been on. And as soon as it's affordable again, I'm gonna go back.
What about the food out there, man?
Food was great. I tried some weird shit though. There's this place called Piss Alley, which is like in Philly, we have this Italian market section where they have like little canopies with odd foods and stuff like that. They have this place, Piss Alley, where it's just basically like fucking street food and
run
like
by Murderface or something.
No, they call it Piss Alley because they used to like during Prohibition. I guess you could drink there and just piss on the train and behind in the alleys and shit. So it's like a dirty, sleazy name. And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm going to see Coffins tonight." Let's go.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
So got sake there, and it's like fucking like I'm not a fat dude, but it's so small there. I was like pushed up against the wall, and they like crammed 30-40 people into the small ass room, like 8x8, and I ate weird shit like cartilage and lung, all these like barbecued skewer type things. Stewed guts was one thing.
Dude, guts, the clip of the week.
And my buddy's like, I'm gonna order this, try this shit. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do this. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking do this. Why not? I'm never gonna do this again.
Right.
So like the food there was pretty cool. I mean, I tried all the random weird shit that I could, like sea urchin I had, and fucking shark heart. I tried that.
Wow. Shark heart.
Raw tartar. Yeah, it was fucking, it's weird.
Wow. Brutal.
But I'm very adventurous when it comes to food anyway. So
yeah, I asked Cargo in Canada one time. That's about it.
We ate Sesos down in Mexico when we played down there with Sexual Atrocities. It's pretty much brains, and it was Sesos tacos, pretty fucking amazing. It was good. Well, we went to this one place off on the side of the road, and they had awesome
eat your brains,
food.
Gain your knowledge.
But the Sesos, the brains there were kind of like really gamey. It was like, but we went to this other place in town, greenest avocados I've ever seen. They had Sesos, and we tried them, and it was fucking delicious. I was like, holy shit, what a difference two places make. Yeah.
But yeah, Japan for the most part was pretty cheap when it came to like buying food. Nothing was too overpriced. Like Philly's more expensive than Tokyo, which is kind of fucked up. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, at least at that point it was, which it's not that long ago. I can't picture things have changed that much, but it definitely like you can do the trip on the cheap and like really enjoy yourself.
That what about like, I mean, you're mentioning like, record stores and shit, and everything I've seen on like YouTube, they have so many shops with just like any kind of like pop culture thing, like old school video games and shit. Like, did you stop in any of those?
Yeah, see, I'm not a big gamer, but my buddy is. So like, while I did the wrestling shit, he would do the video game stuff. But I tagged along for a few stores, and it's like the most ridiculous selection of shit.
Or like horror, like some weird Japanese horror shit.
That's one thing that I was looking for, like VHS, Japanese VHS. They did not have that. The horror selection there was oddly slim. Wow. Video games are fucking everywhere. But horror and stuff, like it's very, very rare, I guess. Like all that shit, because they were censored all the time. So it's kind of like how the UK had the video nasties.
Oh yeah.
That shit, it's expensive as
with
hell.
the video nasty. The damn dude.
But what is fucking cool is I went to this bar, Deathmatch in Hell, which is basically like it's like a grindcore horror movie bar, and they would have like
That's awesome.
all this shit playing on TV with fucking like crazy posters and fucking like it was basically a tourist trap, but cool tourist trap. You know? Australian dudes were in there just fucking being assholes. You know, I was annoyed whenever I met American people. I just want to meet Japanese people, talk.
Right. Dude, who's that? Who are those? Man, I can't think of their fucking name. They're like the dying fetus of Japan.
Infernal Revulsion.
No,
Those fucking dudes are
Mr. Infest?
no.
Vomit Remnants.
Vomit Remnants. Dude.
Fucking Vomit Remnants rules, dude.
Fuck yeah. That last album they dropped, like it's been forever now in the day, but
Right.
it's pretty dope.
That was
Cool.
I got to see 3 shows too at one club, Earthdom. And I got to see like some fucking old punk bands. I saw Coffins fucking on the beach, Melt Banana.
Coffins.
Melt Banana, no shit.
No
Melt
shit.
Banana in Japan. That was my first time seeing
Wow.
it.
That's fucking awesome.
How
Dude.
funny
Big in
is that?
Japan.
Right?
But yeah, this one band, Self Deconstruction. It's fucking like the Japanese Pig Destroyer with female vocals, female guitar player. It's fucking
Wow.
insane. Check them out.
You should sign some of that Japanese talent.
Well, I did talk to him, yeah. To talk to him there, and like, you know, that's the thing too. Like seeing Coffins, like fucking, I've seen him 7 or 8 times now, but seeing him in fucking Tokyo, it's badass.
You just dropped some new shit with them, right?
No, not yet.
It hasn't come out yet. Well, I'm seeing shit. I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm
some
posting the
online.
old stuff. I'm trying to like get people interested, but Relapse is doing a new Coffins record, so that should be out maybe in the fall.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I just support them. You know, like I mean, the way I see it, like I've been working with them since I first started the label too. That was like the 3rd release I did, split 7-inch with them, and then over the years, just kind of fucking seeing them grow, and now got a big buzz. You know, I got to fucking support them and pump the old shit,
Dude, so running, I mean, horror, pain, gore, death, like for you, and this is like an interesting subject for me because it's something I've always wanted to do too, and like especially around here, you know, with the guys in the prick, like our drummer Brad and shit, you know, Decrypt back in the day, and you know, Moisten Disciples and all this other shit. There's so much good shit, and like Stump. I would love to re-release that shit, you know, and like give it a proper run. I don't want it to get lost the time, you know, like this is like good, solid Midwestern fucking grind, you know, and like starting off at the same time, like Putrid Pile would always come down early on, dude. Like,
nice.
what are some of, but I think about running my own label and just like, God, the stresses of that.
You really can't, you can't do it now. You would have to have done it before the shit went down with the shipping.
Yeah, well, I know through my work, dude. I see the shipping. It's fucking ungodly on everything.
Everything is so hard now. Like I started my shit in 2008, and I wish I did it in like 2001 when I was out of high school.
Yeah.
Like every couple of years, it becomes harder and harder. And all the labels that I traded with are now no longer in business. They're fucking gone. All the international labels. So like I spent like 25 grand in shipping the first 2 years, just shipping overseas.
Jeez.
And like
how much of that like
nowadays,
did you really eat too, you know? Like,
I mean, well, like I didn't make my money back for years. And like the way I saw it, like I didn't do this like with a business plan, business model. I was just like, fuck, I want to put shit out there, DIY style, you know, just like, you know, when you're a fan of like horror movies, you're trading shit, tape trading. Like I'm cut from that like old school mentality. So like sadly now with the digital game, it's like completely different because back in 2008, like CDs were still kind of a thing that everybody wanted. And now it's so scarce and fucking like 1 out of 10 people will buy a CD, you know?
Yeah.
And if you want to do vinyl, that's fucked up too, because all the vinyl plants are backed up almost a year.
Yeah.
And the prices are now going up. They're opening new plants, and it's just like, it's a big racket, man. Like, it sucks for the fans and the fucking bands that want to DIY release shit because it's so fucking expensive.
Right.
yeah.
You shouldn't
And
be
it's like the
charging 30
easiest
bucks
time to release and promote music, but it's so hard across
Music
the
in
board.
general is just getting hard now with venue merch cuts and all this other shit. And
Yeah, there's all
touring,
kinds of things going on. man.
gas, economy. Yeah, dude. It's like, fuck. And then like people, like you were saying, nobody wants to buy a CD because everything's convenient on apps and stuff like that. And not a lot of people have CD players.
It's the same
in
thing
their
as
cars
with,
anymore.
with deathmatch wrestling. Like it's capped. at the
exactly.
audience. Yeah. And that's why I'm content. I'm lucky that I can still run my shit after this long. And, you know, sometimes you sell more, sometimes you sell less. But in the end, it's the same amount. same
it's
people.
just you running and doing it.
Just me, man. Yeah, I'm thankful.
I got mad respect for that, dude.
Cheers,
It's hard.
yeah.
Like even on the
Total respect for that, dude.
fucking level,
Yeah.
like the doing that shit with the podcast and stuff. It's like,
Dude, I want to slow down, but
it's
I
like
just can't.
constant.
Yeah, you can't stop because how many episodes is this now? I'm 227.
Well, there's a continuity, little weird thing. I did a lot of weird shit early on. So, like there is no
Weird
episode
shit.
27. Go ahead, motherfuckers. You could try, you could look, but it ain't there.
No, this thing.
But yeah,
it's vaulted.
227.
That's
but
a lot. It's fucking
it's a lot. Not to mention our other show, that we do where we get fucking, our metal friends
silly.
on and hang with Tommy Chong. No big deal. Shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm up to 290 releases in 15 years. About. So that's fucking crazy. Looking back, how much money and time did I spend, and like how the fuck I didn't just go under and say I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
How
But I
do you
crossed
go
that-
insane? Like, how was your like stress level like doing the shit like as a one-man gig, and you're dealing, let's face it, dude, you're dealing with musicians. Not all of us are fucking happy-go-lucky.
It's honestly dealing with bands for the most part. There's only like 2 or 3 bands I can think about that I had a problem with over that period of time, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like that's such a small ratio, 1%. My stress level is always fucking high though. I'm just always thinking and doing shit. There's never like a down moment. Like if I'm out on a show, I want to get drunk, blah, blah, blah. I wake up in the morning, I'm already back to doing shit. It's not like I take a weekend off. Or Japan, I had to take 2 weeks off. I was like, fuck this. I'm in Japan. I'm not doing this. But, any other time, it's like constantly hustling and working in my head. Like, what can I do? What's different? I'm always listening to stuff. And like you said, you want to reissue random things from your territory, basically. And that's shit that I want to hear because I don't know about those bands, and you don't know about Philly bands. And that's what I always try to focus on is like,
Well, networking, boils and ghouls.
Yes,
Try it
sir.
out.
yeah. The problem is though, like if I present a band as like, this is Philly fucking legends, blah, blah, blah. Anybody outside of Philly is going to be like, what the fuck? I don't care. At this point, they'll go on YouTube, they'll hear the demo for like a minute in poor quality and that's it. And that's what's a shame about it. My advice though is just take some time off the podcast, save some money, do a one-time pressing, and just that's it. No label. Don't do a label. Just DIY it. Unless you want to do a label for the podcast, which you could do. Tie it in.
Well, we only got like a couple songs at the moment. We can put out a fucking cassette tape. You get a 20-second song.
Fuck you. The rest is dead air.
But yeah, it's a shame though because production pricing and turn times and shit has just gone through the roof the last few years with COVID. So,
Yeah,
like,
especially
it's
you think
taking
on
them
the CD end too.
No, not so much. Not so much with the CDs, but then again, like nobody wants to do them. The vinyl, it's like everybody, pop stars are doing it, fucking rappers are doing it now. It's like
Well,
10 years ago,
the
wasn't it?
cassettes are coming back too, bro. Like my boy Stone, he's always gifting. I got some fucking benighted cassettes and shit over there, like Pink Machines. Like, what am I gonna do with these? I have a tape player, but it's more for decoration. I'll never use. I don't want it to. It'll go bad sitting in a case over time. Like
I haven't done a cassette. That's the one thing I've never done on my own is like a cassette for hard
it's just
people.
fucking weird, dude. Like
The production cost for that too is expensive, and it's like you can only sell it for $100. So,
Well, yeah, and I would imagine now too because it's such a trendy thing to do. Everybody's putting it out.
Recorded on water.
it's good for
tape.
bands. The way I see it, if you have a merch table, anything you have is going to sell right now. Like people are fucking going out to shows though more than ever here in Philly at least.
Yep.
Like, shit's fucking. It's too crowded. All the New
You
York
can do some cool ass. I like dudes that shout to Belushi Speedball. Those dudes fucking are awesome, and they got the most random like DIY merch. Like they got their shits on Nintendo 64 cartridges and stuff. Like
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm fucking down with that. There used to be a band around here called Plaguebringer back in the day.
Dude, Playbringer was a shit.
Yeah, dude, they did some shit, man.
2-man.
Yeah.
2-man.
Old as fuck too. They're probably both in their 60s.
Probably.
Yeah.
Josh and Greg.
Oh, geez.
But they would always have like they would go to like the thrift shops and find like weird, just the weirdest shirts or Teamster jackets and print the Plaguebringer fucking logo on it. I remember Montez, our first Decrypt tour, we had a fucking he had a like an orange and brown like Dreamsicle Plaguebringer pillowcase, dude. And he was like he had left in like San Antonio or somewhere. We're already on the road for like over an hour. We had to turn around and go get that motherfucker.
Oh, no.
Raising hell about him, like fucking Plaguebringer. Like, God damn. You know, I love that, like the one-off stuff. So if you buy some, no one else is gonna have the same fucking thing. You know,
Yeah, it's smart.
I have 5X, 510, 20XL shirts, but they're all different.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like that's the shit that if I had more time, I would do, and I would like probably put out some other bands I know aren't going to sell, but try to really creatively fucking like bring them up and build it. It's just like, I still write riffs every day. I still play guitar, I just have no time to fucking record or be in a band, but it's going to happen, one of these days
will happen. Oh yes.
It's on hold.
Will happen.
Because I did like a one-man project when I first started the label too, Mental Funeral. And like people ask me about it all the time. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know this? Right. I listen to it all the time on Spotify. When are you going to play a show? And I'm like, fuck that. Not now. But eventually, like, it would be cool to do some shit like that. Just take time off of the business end of it, Because that's another thing too. I was going to 2-3 shows a week after a day job and fucking still doing the label. So I was just fucking tired, hungover, just the whole cycle over and over. But it was awesome because that's your life. Yeah. And now I'm like, I can take a little time and not go to every fucking show, catch up on wrestling. Because I did not go to wrestling or see wrestling for like a good 6-year period. I fell out of it, man. Fucking hated it.
Dude,
that was from like,
I get your pain. I've never done that though. I've never been able to like I always even like watch like when WWE was horrible. I mean, I wouldn't be like, I'd be doing other things and it'd be on, but I could never like, I always felt like a fucking idiot because it was so bad, like I was like, yeah, wrestling, man, I fucking love this shit. And I don't know where else to get it good, bad.
When I stopped watching, it was like maybe 2007 WWE.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It wasn't that bad. Looking back, and then I tuned in like maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago randomly. I was like, what the fuck is this? It says it's like a shell of it. Not even, man. Not even. I tried to get into AEW too. I respect it. It's cool, but it's also trying to just be the same shit. WCW-esque. If I want to see the indies, I watch the indies. For me, it's like, that's good if you don't know about other things because they can't really put on long matches either. It's TV. So they're kind of like at a point where good for them, man. They're an alternative, but it's just, I don't want to watch that or don't. I know this is a good content for the podcast. Be like, I don't want to watch any of the shit on TV.
No,
it's good. It's
that's
great.
fine.
There's
that's
people
the
that's
whole
like that.
There's
people
content.
that are like that.
And going back to wrestling,
one of them produces this show.
There you go.
That's true. That's true. No, man, but like going from ECW to then now going to Japan in 2020, that rejuvenated my entire fucking desire to see wrestling.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit. So there was nothing for like a good year here.
Yeah.
But now there's all kinds of shit going on. And dude, you got the fucking horror paint. You're trying to do the crossover, the metal fucking.
Yeah, that started too because of COVID. That started, well, I mean, obviously with Shlak and Eat the Turnbuckle and shit like that. But I really thought like now, I'm working from home. GCW has this event coming up, fucking Shlak's Wrestling. I'm going to take out a commercial for this fucking CD. And I'm really going to try to brand myself. And then after that, it was just like I was talking to all these wrestling companies, and I got my banner up at the H2O building in Jersey.
Fuck yeah!
So like IWTV's got fucking so many events they put on from there. And I met Tremont years ago. There's a picture of him and DJ Hyde holding the banner.
Yeah,
from Rockstar Pro Wrestling, which was in Ohio. But it's just funny because like I never really got the crossover into it, despite knowing Shlak. I never like actually wanted to take the next step. And then I decided like, that's a whole new audience. And like, that's me. Like, I want more people like me to listen to metal. You like the same shit. I know it. You're there. Just you're fucking waiting. So I think I did a pretty good job of like shoving it down people's throat. Like I do with the stickers all the time. Like if you go to Philly, you're going to see stickers in the bathroom everywhere, every fucking bar, train station, see fucking places. So now it's like the same thing with wrestling. They see the logo, the brand, they don't understand it. They might think it's a wrestling company at first, but
they're going to be curious about it. And I like that. It's like I said,
and it's been embraced, man. Like every time I go to a GCW show or whatever, it's all punks and metalheads in the crowd, man. And it used to be like a fraction,
or at least they look like it. They dress like it,
But they know though. It's like that's another thing about GCW. It's all BYOB and shit. So like people are smoking weed on the boardwalk or drinking.
Brother, it's always BYOB. I don't care if there's restrictions. Coming in real big, real hard,
real stiff.
But yeah, man, it's been since that Fight Forever show, like that really I think changed the whole landscape for indie wrestling. And then everybody wanted to support it. And they got like a ton of money through donations. It was a great concept.
Yeah.
But the problem after that was, I think, like the deathmatch stuff kind of took a back seat, and then they tried to grow too fast because the eyes were on them. They didn't continue with the storylines and feuds either. You know, Ricky Shane Page was gone. 440 was gone. ICW No Holds Barred did the deathmatch.
Gage got fat. You know,
Gage fucking, yeah. I don't know, man.
Bit, yeah.
I'm looking back at some videos. Like, I'm seeing myself in the crowd, and Gage was like fucking so young and so tiny. You know, him and his brother, Justice Payne, RP Justice Payne.
Yeah.
But, you know, fucking, like, it's wild, too, that, like, I saw him fucking back in the day. So I've seen, like, 3 or 4 generations now of deathmatch wrestlers, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, the point is, indie wrestling right now, it's not cohesive. It's like you got one side, you got another side. And I think what we need to do is start having talent, like do cross promoting and have like a surprise fucking feud come up where you have an XPW guy with an ICW dude.
Yeah.
And that is bound to happen because Rob Black has the money. The problem with indie wrestling,
he owns burger joints.
Yeah, he does. But I have nothing but good things to say about him and what he's been doing because the talent can do whatever the fuck they want. He's not afraid of censorship, and he's open to different shit going on.
Well, and I like they got the streamxpw.com that now, and you know, they got off a fight to hopefully I talked to Mikey Gordon, Dirty Ron and Shlak, and, you know, and to hopefully kind of give the guys, men and women working more fucking money, you know, they get more from the stream because fight charges an arm and a fucking leg.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
for the
bullshit.
rights.
How much?
Yeah.
They get
like maybe
$5.
30, if that. I don't even know. It's probably I'm being
nothing. Think about it. If you get $5 per person,
yeah.
IWTV's $10. If you get $5 per person, you're doing that with all the fucking promotions. You divide it up. It's like Spotify royalties or something. It's probably like 3 cents. Not even for like 1,000 people.
Spotify's bad.
But yeah, what I want to see and what's going to happen, because you're already seeing it right now, like other promoters are like giving praise to Rob Black. It's bullshit. You know, stand by. You fucking hate this. You're going to do something about it. That's what Rob Black said. I'm going to bury you. I'm going to take your fucking talent. And that's what's happening. That's why I'm excited for fucking Larry Legend.
Yes.
Fucking man. It's all coming together. All the people 2 or 3 years ago that were against the shit are now doing it. And nothing should be fucking toned down and censored. And if you're watching the other products, it's like they're all trying to be one thing, but they dance around it because they don't want to go balls deep. And that's what we want. That's what we fucking want.
Always.
It's going to happen now. It's bound to. And within 6 months, I think you're going to see like 1 or 2 less deathmatch companies, and he's just going to take all the talent.
Hell yeah.
I hope so.
Rob Black,
The one thing I will say, one thing he does right, he doesn't run more than 1 show a month either.
Yeah.
You just leave people
GCW is fucking insane with the, you know, the shows, and they're branching out and they buying companies out in California or whatever. There was a LA Fight or something like
LA
that.
Fights and fucking JCW.
Yeah, well, didn't they buy JCW and turn in the GCW and then bring
that's the lineage from that? Like, yeah, it's stupid too. It's 2 separate companies, but it's one. And also the shows are better sometimes on there. It's like
sounds like
but yeah, like I mean, I like the IWTV products and their fucking original content, all the shows they're doing. I have respect for that, but I think like as far as death matches go, you gotta scale back or you gotta go all in. And the talent wants more money too.
Yeah,
I would not fucking do the shit for $50.
Dude, and look what I like what Rob's doing too with the, you know, we're once again the metal and wrestling crossover, like, you know, and of course I'm sure, you know, Shlak spearheading that shit too and getting like these bands, and some of them are legendary. The last one I just seen as of late was the fucking Dwarfs, you know,
Dwarfs, right,
like having for little girls, like fucking, I love the fucking Dwarfs, dude. They're fucking great,
they're awesome, man.
Legends, dude. And internal bleeding, you know, fucking
it's like everything you fucking this is what I'm talking about. It's like a dream to meld the worlds, and that's
the modern era like version of XPW is going to be so fucking cool, dude. Like, and they're just doing it. How are you going to cancel them? They've been canceled already, you know, motherfucker. The government.
That's the fucking thing. You're watching deathmatch wrestling. It makes no sense why you would ever want any type of censorship or cancellation at all. You're watching people mutilate each other for your entertainment. You're fucked up individuals.
Yes,
you know.
Dude, hey, if Moxley keeps fucking bleeding, the AEW is finally going to, you know, the network's going to be like, well, you know, this is the 82nd consecutive week this guy has got the juice. You got to cut it back a little, son.
What you think of their exploding barbed wire match?
Oh my god!
I was so fucking pissed. I knew it wasn't going to be shit, right? But the match was whatever. It wasn't actually that bad for a major promotion doing that.
Right.
But the finale is what it's going to to be judged on, and that was.
Don't
I heard Omega do an interview recently with Renee Paquette or whatever, and he's like, he was so pissed about it. He's like, because they had it right. He's like, we tested this thing like so many times, and it was going to be awesome. And then he's like, at the very last second, like literally almost the day of, well, I think I could do this and that. And he's like, no, don't fuck with it. Well, he went with, I think I could do this and that. It'll make it better. And you saw sparklers.
It's an embarrassment, man.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's good because
you're an indie fed. You would have been done that night, dude. You would have been
true. I mean, I saw Tremont and Onita at fucking that match I had on Halloween, and that was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
With the light tube with the fucking fire in it.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I don't even know.
Lightsabers is what they become then.
But it was pretty sick, except they did a spot like that too. Like Tremont went on this barbed wire board, and it was just fireworks that went off for like 2 minutes. And I was like, this is pussy shit. What is this? Like, you just broke a tube on somebody's head that basically blew up.
Right.
Big fire explosion, and then you're doing that shit. Get the fuck out of here.
What about we were talking about Onita and fucking like FMW and shit, and now when they're FMW A or something like that. Yeah, he started a new promotion. He's only done a show or two. Yeah,
they're not that good. I mean, I watched both of them. It's just, it doesn't translate well. He's way too old, man, to be doing anything in the ring.
Yeah,
it's true.
Respect for him, but like, yeah. I mean, even when he showed up in ECW in '98, and they were supposed to do an angle, and he pulled out of it. It was like a 6-man match. It would have been fucking awesome. It would have been great because ECW would have probably went in a different direction than TNN. But then he ended up working with XPW, and he pulled out of that too.
Yeah.
And he pulled out of CZW. It was supposed to be Zandig.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, fuck Onita.
Hey, what about that Shlak? We've talked about it so much out here, but it's fucking great. Come on, John. You're at the fucking Peking buffet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to fight you here, John.
The French fries fucking suck. That was my favorite part.
I love it, dude.
Dude, right in the middle of the restaurant, too. That's what the best part was. Like, no, everyone else in the background's probably watching, like, what the fuck going on? You just spit in that guy's face. And Shlak, no fucks given, just yelling, cutting a promo right in front of everyone. I'm like, yes, I love it. I fucking love that shit.
Dude, Mike, a couple things as we wind down here. I want to tackle this too and have you, just pop the guys, that you put out on your label and shit. We're talking about the wrestling. The whole reason we're here is for pro wrestling and fucking heavy metal because it can be, so nice blended together. Who are some of the bands that you got that are fucking wrestling related, like death metal grind fucking shit?
So I got a new band, obviously the Crippler, not really wrestling themed. It's kind of like a hybrid of everything.
Right.
Eat the Turnbuckle. Everybody asked me if they're coming back. I don't know. Stay fucking tuned. Documentary's coming. I know that.
Shining Wizard
from fucking Florida. Great band. And that's like grindcore meets pop punk. They got a lot of weird riffs in there. They're like more fun, but Lucha Mass is fucking the whole thing. You see live video. It's wild. Another band from Florida, EDKH, which is not announced yet. Pre-order goes up next week. But they're fucking also from Florida, and that's just like old school Repulsion Terrorizer shit as well. So that's very cool. And like I'm trying to be a little diverse, but all these bands are popping up now. I don't know what happened in the last 2-3 years, but
we got older, dude. All these, dude, I'm 82, man. I'm fucking, and these cats are older than me. Like, you see all these kids now. Like, dude, you look at bands like fucking 200 Stab Wounds and Sanguisugabog. They're like, dude, those guys are young. And they're like, all these dudes are blowing up. That whole Ohio fucking scene and shit, like the Devourment style bands or whatever you want to call them. And it's weird hanging out with them because I'm like, oh man,
I got a question
for a guy older than me in the room. I don't want to be fucking grandpa.
Now, would you say that most of these kids are hardcore kids playing slam?
A lot of them.
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
I just went to a hardcore show in Gary like a month ago, and it was like, it's motherfuckers doing that. I don't get down with that shit. I don't fucking care.
I don't either, man.
Back in the day when my body wasn't damaged, we used to do wrestling moves in the pit, putting dudes in torture racks. I think a super kid
angle slams
face once.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that's the problem I think with etiquette. These days it's not quite there, and the young kids just think they can do whatever the fuck they want. And then you fuck with an old head at one point, you're gonna get knocked out.
You're getting murdered, dude. That's what I feel like. If you fucking hit me for doing some stupid shit, like I'm gonna meet you out back with a fucking needle, like, and then drag it in my fucking garage and cut.
I'll finger you.
you.
Fuck around, find out. I'll finger you. Stop.
Yeah, dude. Not down with that fucking scene, but anyway,
that's the worst.
But yeah, man, it's good. It's good to work with bands that understand wrestling to the point. Like, they're not just fans of the new shit. Like, they know the old ECW. They know fucking Japan. So, like, it's legit. I don't want to break kayfabe too much, but it's fucking legit.
Oh, come on, man. Fuck kayfabe. What is kayfabe? I'm surprised anybody knows that anymore. Modern wrestling fans probably don't. Like, what is kayfabe?
Huh?
There is no kayfabe at this point,
No, not anymore.
The part of the promo is fucking gone. What are people cutting promos on Twitter and fucking TikTok now? Like,
well, you know what? Hey, you can't hate on them for fucking doing that, though, because I'll cut a I think Bodie's wife cuts promos on him all the time. No, he's always doing stupid
Doesn't
shit.
matter.
It's not the same level of, like, a performance. Like, if you see something from the 90s, a promo is a fucking promo, right? Unscripted promo. I'm not talking about like WCW bullshit toward the end, but like a real promo can be fucking delivered only in certain dynamic and presence. Now it's like somebody's sitting at the fucking phone like this, vertical style. It's bullshit. Like,
I don't like the vertical. I'm more of a horizontal guy.
Yeah, well, we got the fucking widescreen going on here,
Yeah.
You guys know what the
Where
fuck
it's at. It's where it's at.
I think social media is a fucking shit show in a wasteland. Unfortunately, I have to use it to, we all have to use it to promote what we're doing. But I do like and enjoy the modern era of, like, if you are that's on the indies, especially, that's how you develop feuds. The Bucks used to do that shit a lot before all this AEW stuff. There was like storylines and feuds kind of bled in, that's kind of keeping the kayfabe alive a bit.
True.
So I enjoy some of that if done well,
I just miss that the TV, like, angles are supposed to be done on TV, in my opinion. Like, if you have TV, utilize the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, Nitro and Raw fucking drew money. It wasn't because of the wrestling. It's because of NWO taking.
It was because of the smut.
Yeah.
Smut. It was the HLA.
But yeah, I feel you, man. You gotta keep adapting, but you also gotta keep it old school. It's wrestling, man.
Totally agree.
Everybody wants to believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to believe. I'm not going to ask you this fucking question, but I'm going to do it because
here we go.
Whatever. Who's your fucking favorite handful of wrestlers that you could just name 5 dudes off the top of your head ever?
Ever?
That really fucking stick with you, though. I'm not just saying, well, because, this, like, who are the people that stick with you, All
right. So it's probably going to be mostly ECW guys. It just has to be because I've seen them the most. Sabu, New Jack, Sandman, Cactus Jack.
Fuck is not an option.
It's a hard one.
It's fucking hard. One more?
What is making fuck?
It's too hard.
It is.
Real big, real hard, real stiff.
I want to say like Ian Axelrod and fucking Onita, like Mr. Pogo, shit like that.
Have them like
one of those guys.
Fucking make this weird amalgam of flesh and tissue and personality.
Ooh.
So we'll count that as a vote. That counts as one.
The stuff.
But yeah, no, it's definitely like, because you gotta have respect for all angles of wrestling, all genres of wrestling. So like you got to put in the garbage wrestler, so to speak, with people, the blood and guts guys. Like Bruiser Brody has to be up there too. I never got to see
has
Brody.
to be.
That's Bruiser Brody you're talking to right now. So
we pay respect.
Got to respect the condom.
But yeah, it's just there's so many eras of different like fucking legends of each. Like Funk definitely number one, probably like the best all around wrestler I've ever seen. He could do everything.
It's the most loaded question there is, but I like it because when guys know their shit like you, it's like, well, really, it's like about 132 different guys that are my top 5.
It's hard.
Yeah, like,
hard
I can't say anybody like modern though. Like, to be honest with you, like
really, there's nobody out there. You're not a fan of like so even like your Omega. You don't like Omega. You didn't like those Okada matches.
They're great. I respect it, but I do think like I've seen that since like the Super J Cup in '95.
Man, you are a spoiled little twat, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mike?
Hey, 95 spoiled a lot of people, dude. Especially
I mean, also like Benoit. Benoit's fucking
Oh my
great.
God, Benoit.
Benoit Babyheads by Wretch.
Dude.
Benoit's fucking like, I mean, I saw him back when he started before doing like, when he was in the triple threat, basically, you know?
Mhm.
Didn't he start? I mean, he was doing Stampede shit though, too, right?
Oh yeah.
No, he's doing
With
shit.
Stu Hart. Hey, Chris, go out there and stretch him.
But he's a fucking weird dude back then in ECW too. Like he cuts a promo at the end of this double tables event, and he's just fucking like doing this with his hands. And you're like, this guy's fucked up. But you can tell something's off about him. I believe him now. Like this dude is legit, like a great fucking wrestler.
And then he just went hard as fucking. He was, dude. To me, he was the reinvention of the wheel with as far as like the modern day Dynamite Kid. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Canada doesn't always get a good rap, but they're fucking great. Canadians are great wrestlers, great people.
Canadians make up probably half, if not more, of like the best wrestlers ever
and the best
anywhere.
NHL hockey players.
There's guys you didn't even know were like Piper's fucking Canadian, you know?
Oh, I know.
Abdullah the Butcher's Canadian.
Right?
That's true. I got to put Abdullah the Butcher in my list too. He's fucking one of the greats.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
You know,
Abdullah, when I was a little kid, and you know, you get like the wrestling magazines and shit, and see the old WCW, NWA stuff, and it was like Abdullah was like, that was the guy that's like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, get the old PWIs with him on the front, just busted open everywhere. I'm like, yeah,
with the curled up boots too, man.
Yeah, with the curled up boots,
You had
dude.
curled
Fork
up
to the
boots
eyes.
back in the day. You were like one step closer to Satan. Like that shit was evil, man. I was like, what's
Tiger
his
Jeet
boots curled
Singh
like that?
Yep, Tiger Jeet Singh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chainsaw matches.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I remember.
I never
getting
went
those
to
art
Abby's
videos.
rib place though. Need to get his ribs.
Oh,
Mike,
yeah.
let me ask you, who, in your opinion, is the most fucking metal wrestler ever?
It's a good one too. Now, metal in the sense of
In the sense of
Gimmick
what we
or in
like.
the
I
sense
don't
of
give a
just
fuck.
being-
I ain't talking about Edge and seeing clearly on any day. You know, I'm a little dreary from the
Worst.
Druries.
Oh,
it ain't Fozzy.
yeah.
It ain't Fozzy.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a great fucking question.
Who was the dude back in WCW? Remember he played
Van
the
Hammer, man.
Van
Huh?
Hammer. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Man Mountain Rock.
No, not Van Hammer. Yeah, it was Man Mountain. Yeah,
Was it Man Mountain Rock, dude?
WWF guitar?
Yeah.
yeah, he was in
Oh, man.
WCW and he played with that Bergstrom or whatever.
Oh,
his
yeah,
name-
yeah. Max Payne.
Max Payne.
Yeah, Max Payne. That's what it was. Yeah. Oh Jesus.
No, there's some shitty heavy metal gimmicks. See, that's the thing too. Like,
Oh yeah.
Well,
if
I'm
you
not
wanna
even
talk
saying
about-
that. I'm saying like crossover, like true crossover. I look at that shit, you know, for like what we, if I was to say mine, I'd say, you know, Shlak's up there. Definitely fucking Nasty Ron. Like for me, Nasty Ron's like the
True.
number one.
But not
I'm
really a wrestler though. Being a manager is a little different. You know,
No, but he did some he worked some matches and it just being in the business, you know. I mean, I
Right,
don't care.
right.
You're a manager, you're a fucking wrestler. And most of them wrestled, you know, maybe not Paul Heyman, but even Bobby the Brain dude was taking bumps and he's the goat. Dude. I don't give a fuck.
True. No, I would say like modern times. Obviously, you got to give Shlak fucking credit
Oh,
just
yeah.
because of the attitude, but not really a metal attitude, like a punk rock, dirty, fucking sleazy hybrid of
Scuzz
everything
fuck
that's fucking
Of a human being. Shlak, I know
Yeah.
you're watching and listening
great
right now.
dude.
I mean that with all due respect.
Yeah, Shlak's one of the fucking
He's
nicest
awesome.
dudes, and you know,
Yes.
like when I met him too, it was just I think it was 2009 at MDF. But you know, I'd seen his band before called Paramedics at the time, which are fucking sick. And then ended up getting tattooed by him. Always been a great fucking friendly guy, and like everybody's intimidated to meet him and shit. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know?
Yeah.
And then getting to see him like, you know, evolve to this fucking, you know, premier top tier deathmatch wrestler now is unbelievable. Because I remember when he was fucking training and like I was like, holy fucking shit, like you should definitely do this. And he's made a transformation too. I mean, like,
Yeah, yes.
dude's a fucking like legit beast, but also like highly talented artist, tattoo artist. Like he did my autopsy tattoo, which is fucking
Sickest.
goddamn fucking
Wow.
one of the best things I got. I got to get more work done by him. But yeah, Shlak, as far as the attitude, the fucking execution, performance, everything you want. As
Mhm.
far as like that attitude, I would say. No fucks given.
Yes.
Heavy metal and fucking hardcore and punk rock should be uncensored. There should be no fucking toning down.
Nope.
So if that's what you mean, who's the most like top 10 fucking, you know, extreme to the max all the time? Probably him. Those tubes don't have a fucking chance. They're going
I
everywhere.
agree.
I totally agree.
So
If
yeah,
GG
and I
was
would
a
say
wrestler.
like all the other gimmicks like Van Hammer and Max Payne is kind of bullshit, you know? Max Payne was cool with Cactus against the Nasty Boys, that shit.
I remember that. Yes.
It could go over really well now, and not like Danhausen or whatever the fuck that is.
Oh,
not a fan of that. But sorry, too comic.
Yeah.
Very
he was
hot.
comic. He was comical.
I'll agree. Well, dude, brother, it's been a fucking great time having you on. And speaking of Shlak, as we end this episode, we're gonna fucking bust out a track for you guys to fucking sit and enjoy off the Crippler's latest
Yes.
album. And real quick before we do that, Mike, you're gonna plug everything you got going on and where people can get a hold of all the fucking music.
Listen up.
Fuck yeah. All right. So new releases, Horrible Earth, fucking Cruller, Bread for Slaughter, which is a new band with fucking Mike Beams from Exhumed Mortuous. Very sick shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Save Your Skin is coming out next month. More of a gothy doom style. Very cool.
Threatens into that. He's looking for that doom shit. So hook him up.
It's good. It's good. It's like industrial death doom. Very Catatonia, Peaceville type shit.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And then EDKH, which is a new band going up for pre-order probably a couple days from when this drops. But you can get everything at horrorpaingoredeath.com, hpgd.bandcamp.com, and then go to shop.horrorpaingoredeath.com. Get 10% off. Build a new fucking website for that. Keeping it fucking real. No posers, no bullshit. It's not MDK. It's HPGD all fucking day and all fucking night.
Keep it real, bitch.
Yeah.
Remember the Cinerary, dude, back in the day?
Yep.
Mike, thank you for fucking gracing us with your presence. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
I'm glad motherfuckers out there got to know you, you know, and we'll do this again. Right now, motherfuckers, hit like, subscribe, and share. Follow us and fucking rate and review on any podcasting platform. ProWrestlingTees.com/JPWTees. We got 3 designs. They're pretty
Buy the shirt.
sick.
Hey, yo.
Buy the shirt, motherfuckers. And hey, here's the Crippler with Mangled Bodies. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em
Let him
up.
up.
So fucking wet from my Juliano or Gore Death Productions is the fucking Crippler with Mangled Bodies.
No huss.
You gonna do sex to me? Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!